السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. طلابي الأعزاء طلاب الفرقة الأولى بالمجمع التكنولوجي المتكامل بالأميرية. أهلا وسهلا بحضراتكم مع أولى الحلقات المتعلقة بالتعلم الإلكتروني لمادة Technical English. Today, inshallah, we're going to start with lesson 3. I have already introduced some overview about lesson 3 last time in our face-to-face session, and today inshallah we're going to talk in more details about the lesson, as well as we're going to answer the questions on this lesson. So we'll start with reading the text. The text is starting from the first slide, first paragraph. Next time you're in a public place, take a look around you and count how many people are using their phones. I can tell you now that it's probably more than half. Whether you are on public transport, in a cafe, or simply walking down the street. I'm not saying that I'm not an example of this, but it always amazes me how people can spend so much time on their phones without actually talking to anyone in particular. With the constant upgrade of technology, we can now do practically anything on a device which can fit in the palm of our hands. But has it gone too far? Do we spend too much time on our mobiles and not enough time talking to people in real life? For example, I recently visited London and traveled on the tube. While I was there, apart from the people asleep, almost everybody else was on their phones. And because of the nature of the tube, it's difficult not to see exactly what they are all doing. Of course, being underground, it's difficult to get any signal, which rules our texting or using the internet. But there is still plenty you can use your phones for. People were playing games, reading articles, listening to music, and I'm sure that as soon as they emerged from the train station, they would start texting or calling or checking their emails. There is a constant connection to everyone in the world, as long as you have a mobile phone in your hand. Recently, my smartphone broke and had to be sent off to the warehouse for repair for a week or so. In the meantime, I had to use a really old basic phone just to keep me in touch with my family and friends. All I could do on this phone was to send text messages, make calls, and play one game. And I loved it. I loved being free from the internet. And I really didn't mind not having constant updates about what my friends were doing or what the latest celebrity story was. It was quite refreshing and it allowed me to spend more time taking in my surroundings. I could enjoy my time in London more, for example, and I could watch the people around me and really see what was going on. However, I knew that as soon as I got my smartphone back, I would be one of those people once again, obsessed with finding out what everyone is doing and wasting my time playing games or checking social networking sites. Perhaps I should just go back to using the basic phone and forget I ever got my smartphone back. This was a kind of repeating the same lesson that I have already introduced before in our face-to-face session. And if you still remember, I asked you to read the article and answer the questions. And here we go with the questions. Question number 1 here is, what did the writer notice while traveling in the tube to London? So if you get back to the article, in order to respond to the answer of this question, you'll find that the answer is already there in the first paragraph. When the writer mentioned the idea of just taking a look at people in the tube which was supposed to travel to London, and he found that most people were doing something with their cell phones. They were, for example, playing games, reading articles, listening to music. So almost half of them were busy using their own mobile or cell phones. دي الإجابة بتاعت question number one اللي هي what did the writer notice while traveling in the tube to London. If you get back to the article, you'll find that the answer is already there in the first paragraph. The writer talked about the idea of almost half of the people who were in the tube were using their own mobile phones in different ways. Question number two, what's the difference between a basic phone and a smartphone? And I'm sure that you know the answer of this question, but you can't answer your question depending on your own point of view about the differences between a basic phone and a smartphone. ما اقدرش ان انا اجاوب على السؤال ده من وجهة نظري انا ايه الفرق ما بين البيسك فون والسمارت فون. But I need to get back to the article, and if you get back to the article, you'll find that the writer talked about the basic phone. A basic phone is a phone that you can use in order to stay in touch with your family and friends, just for making calls, and that's it. That's the idea of a basic phone. And I'm sure that you know the idea of a smartphone. A smartphone is a phone that's connected to the internet. So simply you can differentiate between a basic phone and a smartphone by saying that a smartphone is connected to the internet, and of course one of the features is a smartphone has like a Play Store or Google Store where you can download any applications that you may use. This is for question number two. For question number three, what's the disadvantage of using a smartphone? So in the article, the writer talked about some of the advantages of using smartphone, like playing games, like reading articles, like listening to music, like checking their emails. But he didn't mention disadvantages directly in the article, but he talked about smartphones take most of people's time. People now are no longer spending time with one another, with friends, with families. Instead, they spend most of their time just using their own smartphones. So this may be one of the disadvantages of using a smartphone. Question number four, how did the writer spend his time at London without his smartphone? So if you get back to the article, we had a specific point about question number four. When the writer's mobile phone was broken, he used to have like a basic phone, and of course he spent more time with friends. He watched people around him and really saw what was going on. These are some of the ideas, some of the points that the writer spent his time at London without his own smartphone. Question number five, are you one of those people who is constantly on their phone? Do you think mobile phones are taking over our lives? This is, of course, an opinion question. So everyone has a specific opinion about the question. Some of us may say that yes, mobile phones take over our lives. And I asked you one day in one of our classes, how long do you spend on your cell phones every day? And I get surprised answers from some of you who told me that we spend on average from 3 to 7 hours. Some of you mentioned that they spend like 24/7. It's like spend all the day on their own smartphones. So you can of course talk about your case. You can talk about how long do you spend on your mobile phones and whether mobile phones are taking over your lives or not. So this is a kind of an opinion question. Let's now move to the synonym match questions. We have here a synonym match question, and I asked you if you still remember to do it as homework last time. So we have here the synonym match question. We have the meanings of specific words which were mentioned in the article. عندنا هنا بعض الكلمات المهمة اللي ذكرت جوه المقال نفسه. عندي number one, which is take over. Number one, take over. So what is the meaning of the word take over? Is it come out from, keep contact with, too interested in, good store, surprise, having the power to restore energy and vitality, related to a specific person, control and dominate, prevent or exclude, get in the size and position of. So when we read the different meanings here, the best meaning for take over is letter yes. It's letter what? It's letter H. So we have here control and dominate. So take over means, one more time, control and dominate. Word number two, which is amaze. That's word number two. So one more time, what is the synonym? What is the meaning of amaze? According to the writer's use in the article. لازم هنا لما أعرف المفردات دي لازم أرجع للمقالة مرة تانية وأشوف اللي قصد بيها إيه الكاتب أو المؤلف المقالة بكلمة amaze. If you get back to the article, you'll find out that amaze means to surprise. Yes, surprise. To amaze someone means to surprise someone. And then we have number three, which is in particular. That's number three. In particular, yes, the meaning of in particular is, this is letter G. Related to specific person. Related to specific person. And then we have number four. Number four, which is to fit in. So to fit in means to, yes, to get in the size and position of. So fit in, to get in the size and position of. Then number five here is rule out. So what is the meaning of rule out? Rule out is, yes, correct. It's to prevent, to exclude. So one more time, rule out means to prevent or exclude. Then we have number six, which is to emerge from. Emerge from means to come out from. Emerge from means to come out from. Then we have number seven, keep in touch. Keep me in touch, which means keep contact with. So keep me in touch means to keep contact with. Then we have number eight, refreshing. So what's refreshing? Correct, it's letter F, which is having the power to restore energy and vitality. اللي هو معناها بقى ان هو يكون عنده الطاقة ان هو او يكون عنده المقدرة القوة ان هو يقدر ان هو يستعيد الطاقة بتاعته والحيوية بتاعته. ده المعنى بتاع كلمة ايه؟ بتاع كلمة refresh. Then we have number nine. Number nine means obsessed. Obsessed means too interested in doing something. Okay, you repeat it more and more and more. So you're too interested in doing it. And then the last one, of course, you can guess the meaning of the last one. Yes, number 10 here. The meaning of number 10 is letter D, which is goods store. Actually, these are the questions of the synonym match, and the questions and the answers of the questions that we have already answered in the previous slide. دي كان كل حاجة عن الدرس الثالث بالquestions اللي كانت موجودة عليه. أتمنى إن إحنا نكون يعني فهمنا lesson number 3، وكان مهمتنا الأساسية إن إحنا نجاوب على الquestions الخاصة ب lesson number 3. شكرا جزيلا. Thank you so much, and إن شاء الله we'll meet again in the next lecture. Thank you so much. مع السلامة.